Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is resource and development. That is from class 10th geography. Okay, in last class already we discussed in these subtopics. What are those? In this chapter we have nearly 6 subtopics are there. What are those? In introduction, types of resources, resource and development, soil as a resource conservation, and land as a resource. We discussed. It has nearly 6 subtopics, very important subtopics. In last class already we covered introduction part. What is that? In introduction already we discussed what is resource, what is the importance of resource, how it is playing main role in development of any country. Already we discussed in introduction part in last class. Coming to today's class, now we are going to discuss about types of resources. How many types of resources are there? How, on what based these resources are classified? We are going to discuss in this topic or in this class. Okay. See, in this subtopic, types of resources. In our resources are mainly divided into 4 groups. What are those? Based on origin, resources are divided into some particular classes, and ownership also, based on ownership also, resources are divided, and status of development also, resources are divided. Okay, last one, that is based on exhaustibility also, resources are divided. Okay, we will discuss each and everything line by line in this class. Coming to resources, how many resources are there? It's a big question. On what basis these resources are classified? This is a big question. See here, with simple trick we can remember these resources. How many resources are there? How can we classify? How can we remember? See here. See, write resource. See here. This is the key point for our resources. See here, based on, see, there it is a O square. O square stands for, first O stands for based on origin, resources are classified. Second O stands for based on ownership, resources are classified. S stands for status of development, resources are classified. Last E stands for based on exhaustibility, also resources are classified. Okay, we will discuss these resources one by one. Based on origin, resources are classified into two types. What are those? See here, based on origin. See, simple thing. You know, everybody knows A and B. These are the alphabets. First A, first B, second B. See here, A stands for abiotic. B stands for biotic. Based on origin, class resources are divided into 2 types. First one is abiotic, second one is biotic. What is biotic? Biotics, these resources belongs to, we have 4 spheres: lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, and biosphere. Biosphere means it is discussing about the living beings. The resources are resources which are obtained from the biosphere may comes under biotic resources. Example for biotic resources, it means the things, the resources which are obtained from the living beings, they comes under biotic. For example, human beings. Second one, forests, and we can give one more example, that is fish or aquatic animals or aquatic Is it clear? These are the example for biotic resources. Coming to abiotic. Abiotic means the resources which are obtaining from the non-living things or non-living beings. For example, From hydrosphere comes under water. Hydrosphere comes under water. Water is also a example for the abiotic resources. Is it clear? Okay. Next, from atmosphere also we can extract. What is that? Oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, all these things. This is also resource. Coming to one more thing, lithosphere. Lithosphere comes under land. Land also a abiotic resource. For example, minerals. What are minerals? Mineral resources. For example, iron, zinc, coal. All this comes under abiotic resources. Abiotic means absence of life. Is it clear? Okay, I will give you one more example. See this. This is a pen. It is originated from non-living things. It means abiotic things. For biotic things, one more example. See here, it is a table. It is originated from the wood. Wood is extracted from the plant resources. Plant means it is a biotic resource. Is it clear? Based on origin, again these resources are divided into two types, abiotic and biotic. Is it clear? These are the suitable examples. So do you have any doubts? Okay, we are going to discuss about second classification, that is based on ownership. Based on ownership also, resources are divided into four types. What are those? We will discuss here. Based on ownership, resources are divided into four types. What are those? We will discuss here. See here. Based on ownership. 1, 2, 3, 4. See here, owner. If you want to become a owner for anything, what we need? We need to purchase it. How can we purchase it? With the help of money. Is it clear? Okay. See here, I am showing something. What are these? These are money or coins. This is also symbol for the money. With the help of money, we can purchase anything. Is it clear? Okay. What is this? This coin. This coin is symbol for the money. With the help of money, we can only become a owner. For example, this is a slide changer. Okay. It is also a resource. If I want to become a owner for this, what I need? I need to purchase this. How can I purchase this? With the help of money only. For example, I am taking money as a coin here. Coin. This is the clue point for our ownership based classification. See here, CO stands for community resource. Community resource. I stands for individual resource. Okay. Second point, N stands for national resource or national property. National resource or national property. Coming to IN stands for international property or international resources. International property. Okay, we will discuss one by one. What is individual property? What is community property? What is national property? What is international property? What is the difference between all these properties? Okay. Coming to individual property. What is individual property? It is about personal properties. You know, you have some properties, I have some properties. In the sense, for example, I have land, I have car, I have animals, I have livestock. These are all belongs to personal properties. For example, car, land, all this comes under individual property or personal properties. Coming to second one, community property. Community property means, you know, people are living in community basis. Okay, community in the sense, group of people. This group of people having access to resources, particular resources. What are those? In villages we can see example for these community resources are pond, for water they are using, graveyards, for final ceremony. These people is to that particular area. And grazing lands, in villages people used to rear livestock. In that particular time they used to graze their animals for their livestock. Is it clear? Okay, in these villages these are the places for the community property. It means anybody can utilize those property. But here coming to individual property, nobody has right to enter into these properties. Why? Because it is belongs to only particular person only. But community properties are different from individual properties. Okay. In cities, communities properties are different. Parks, public parks, and what is that? Public parks and libraries. All this comes under community property. In community, everybody can use or access those properties. Is it clear? There is a difference between community property between village people and city people. Okay, coming to national property. What is national property? Every nation has property. Nearly we have 197 plus countries are there in the world. But every country has its borders. What is that border means? Political boundaries. In that, the land which is under those particular boundaries, they may come under property of that particular country. For example, India have nearly 3.28 million square kilometers. We have land. It is nearly 2.4% of land percentage of world share. Is it clear? Okay, but the point is the land and also human beings who are living in this particular area comes under the properties of nation. Is it clear? But coming to point, but we have been discussing here individual property, community property, but in third point we are discussing about national property. Coming to national property, this personal property, community property, and human beings also comes under the property of nation. What is this? It means without people there is no country. For example, there is no human beings in the India. Can we say it has any value for particular country without human beings? So that's what human beings as well as physical features, all this comes under the property of particular country. If any countries need personal property as well as community property for the development of nation, it can acquire it, it can utilize it. But for that purpose, every country has to pay for the individuals. For example, it can pay some compensation for the land. If it is grabbed some land from you, it will give some compensation also. For example, every country is to develop railways, roadways, and industries for the development of the country. If for this purpose, for the country's welfare, if it needs any land or any area, any resource, it can grab, it can utilize these individual property, community property from the individuals also. Is it clear? But up to here we have been discussing about the boundary for the any country is only land boundary, but it is not true. Coming to here, up to 12 nautical miles in sea also. 12 nautical miles. What is nautical miles? If it is converted into kilometers, if it is converted into 20 kilometers, it may comes into 22.2 km. Up to 22.2 km, it may consider as a territorial boundary for any country. What is that? Territorial boundary. Up to 22.2 kilometers, we can utilize. It may consider as a border for particular country. See here, it is also comes under the national property. Up to where? Up to 22.2 kilometers. Is it clear? Okay. Okay. Coming to international property. What is international property? Who are the owner for this international property? Simple thing. ENO, United Nations Organization. Nearly 197 countries are members of ENO. This is the one for the international property. What is international property here? We have been discussing about territorial boundary for any country up to 22.2 kilometers here. Is it clear? It is about any country's property. But after that, 200 nautical miles, it may comes under EEZ, exclusive economic zone. Here, no country has right to utilize this property. Are you getting my point? All these properties, all these water properties, ocean properties belongs to ENO only. If any country wants to utilize this property or these resources for their country's growth, it needs to take permission from the ENO only. Is it clear? Why? Because it is maintaining peace between many countries. It is the purpose of the ENO. All are the members of ENO. Nearly 197 countries are members of ENO. Okay, up to here it is very clear. But the main point is, already I give one beautiful example, that is, already India has also taken permission. India has already taken permission to extract manganese nodules from the Hindu Ocean. Some manganese is there. Manganese is also one mineral resources. It is very valuable mineral resources. But it is very near to India. But it comes under EEZ. Already we discussed. Exclusive economic zone. So every country has to need to take permission from the ENO. So India also taken permission from the ENO to utilize the manganese nodules from the exclusive economic zone. Exclusive economic zone comes under 200 nautical miles from coast of any country. Is it clear? Okay, it comes under international property. Okay, again we need to discuss about third type of classification of resources, that is status of development. Status of development also, resources are classified into 4 types. What are those? We will discuss here. Status of development. Okay, what is status of development here? Look, we know so many resources are there. How much we are developing it, how much we are utilizing it, based on its status, based on its state. Again, resources are divided into 4 types. What are those? We will discuss here. See, itself also saying that this word is itself also saying that how many types of resources are there in status of development. C, S, D, P. These are the clue points. See here. These are the clue points. See here. Okay. Here D stands for developed resources. What is developed resources? Already some resources are there, already they developed. What is developed means? Human beings are developed it. How they developed? They surveyed for the resources and they mapped the particular mineral resources, and they know the quantity and quality of the resources. With the help of machinery, with the help of technology, they come to know quality and quantity of the resources also. For example, iron ore and coal. We know where coal mines are there in India, and also we know where iron mines are there in India. So it means already they are developed. So if you know quality and quantity, if you know the mapping where they are located, these all are comes under developed resources. Okay, already they are developed. We are utilizing it, iron and coal, and also we are exporting this coal and iron for the other countries also. Coming to P, P stands for potential. What is potential stands for? Potential means not fully utilized. Not fully utilized. There are resources, but we are not utilizing with optimum level. There is a scope to utilize it, but we are not utilizing with their optimum level. That is the point. For example, in India, Gujarat and Rajasthan, there is ample of wind power and solar power, but it has so much of scope, so much of potential, but we are not utilizing with full amount. Still we are not developed for utilizing of wind power and solar power, which is available in Rajasthan and Gujarat. So these resources comes under potential resources. I use a suitable example. Everybody has brain, but we are not utilizing up to the level or potential level of the brain. In here, some people are using 9% or 10% of the brain. What much of GB it has? What much of percentage of memory it has? Is it clear? Okay. Coming to next one. Start. Okay. Just we have discussed about the potential resources. Potential means not fully utilized. Already we discussed. Not fully utilized means in Rajasthan and Gujarat area there are some resources are there. Those are renewable resources comes under. See what are those? Wind resources and solar energy resources. But they have so much of scope. But what we are doing, we are not able to use it full manner. That is the problem. Okay, what are those? Solar energy and wind energy. Is it clear? Okay, coming to stock. Stock means there are some resources are there, but we don't have technology to extract those resources and utilization. It means we have, I give some example, based on example you can understand very easily. Stock means, see here on Earth surface nearly we have 71% of what is there. It means water means H2O, but H2O means, see there are two gas molecules, hydrogen and oxygen. See, coming to hydrogen, we can use hydrogen for so many works. We can use it as a fuel. And coming to oxygen, the usage of oxygen. We can also use it for fuel, and also it is essential for the living beings for respiration purpose. Is it clear? So we have this much of stock amount of resources we have, but we couldn't able to, and we cannot able to use it. Why? Because we don't have that much of technology to extract or to separate those two water molecules, those two gaseous molecules from the water. So maybe in future generation, you people like, we can generate technology, we can develop technology to extract these resources, and we can use these resources. Is it clear? That's why we are classifying these resources as a stock. Example, water. Water in the sense, in water there are two gaseous molecules, H2O, oxygen and hydrogen. Hydrogen, we can create through hydrogen bomb also, hydrogen reactors also for generating electricity, and we can use it for energy resource as a. Coming to second one, last one, that is reserves. What is reserves? Reserves itself saying that some reserves, where we use this type of reserved word, while booking movie tickets, while booking flight tickets, while booking flats also. It means these are reserved for a particular person. Nobody doesn't like to touch that reserved seats. For example, same here is happening. What is that? Some resources are there, we are reserving for the upcoming generation or future generation. Why we are reserving it? For their utilization. But thing is here, resources are there, but we can utilize it. I give an example, we can understand very easily. You know, in our dams we have ample of water. We have ample of water in reservoirs. We have ample of water. But thing is, we can generate electricity through this water. We can generate it and we can utilize it, this electricity, for the domestic purpose as well as industrial purpose. But we are not generating electricity using this entire water. Nearly 80 to 50% of water is reserving for the future generation. So that's what these kind of resources are comes under the reserves. Okay, one more example for reserves is forests. Forests also reserves for the upcoming generations. But we can utilize it. We can cut the forest, we can do deforestation, we can export this timber to the other countries, and for domestic purpose also we can utilize it. But we are not utilizing it, but we are reserving some amount of energy resources for the future generation. Those reserves are those resources are comes under the reserves. Is it clear? For reserves, the example is reservoirs, water. Okay, coming to next classification, that is based on exhaustibility. Resources are classified into two different classes. First one is renewable resources, second one is non-renewable resources. Again, non-renewable resources is divided into recyclable resources and non-recyclable resources. Okay, it is the last one. It is fourth classification. Already we discussed origin, based on origin, based on ownership, based on status of development, we discussed. The last one is based on exhaustibility. But based on exhaustibility, there are two types. First one is renewable, second one is non-renewable. Renewable means they can renew it themselves by physical or chemical process. For example, water cycle. Water can renovate themselves by water cycle or H2O cycle or hydrological cycle. They can renovate. Nitrogen also renovate by physical and chemical process. Renewable, these are comes under renewable resources. And I can give one more example for renewable resources. Wind energy. Wind energy also comes under renewable resources. And solar energy. Solar energy also comes under renewable resources. Okay, they can renovate themselves. Okay, coming to non-renewable means they cannot renovate themselves. For example, non-renewable resources, you know, fossil fuels. For example, petrol, kerosene, diesel. We can give these examples. Non-renewable resources. Again, non-renewable resources are divided into two parts. First one is recyclable resources and non-recyclable resources. What is recyclable? We can recycle these resources and we can utilize it for the future generation. For example, see, some metals are there. Metals. What are the metals? There are so many metals, you know, you can see in periodic table also. So, for example, iron, nickel, we can reuse it by recycling this, you know, scrap iron. For example, we are using this iron for preparing chairs and tables and fans and all these things, but we can recycle it and we can reuse it. So these resources comes under, metals comes under recyclable resources, but some resources are there, they cannot recycle. If you use once, they are exhausted, we cannot see once again, you know. For example, natural gas or cooking gas or methane, and fossil fuels, same fossil fuels. What are the fossil fuels here? Same. What are those? Petrol, kerosene, diesel, all this comes under non-recyclable resources. Is it clear? Based on exhaustibility, these are divided into renewable and non-renewable. Again, non-renewable resources are divided into recyclable and non-recyclable. Is it clear? Okay. Okay, we have discussed all the resources based on ownership and based on origin, based on status of development and based on exhaustibility. Okay, that is completion of part 2 in our resource and development chapter, class 10th geography. Third subtopic in resource and development is resource development. How we are going to develop the resources and what is SD? SD stands for status sustainable development. And what is equitable distribution of resources? What is the planning of resources? What is the planning of resources in India? Okay, why we need to plan the resources? And what is the condition of United Kingdom while colonial era? There is a relation between the resource and development. What kind of relation is there? Relation is there between the resource and development. We need to discuss in third subtopic in resource and development, that is class 10 geography first lesson. Thank you.